See, where do we start? Firstly, obviously this isn't a Tesla video by any means. So the last time we did a public video was somewhere around here in April, so a little over a month ago. And if you remember, the key takeaway from that video was this. So I'm just gonna, before I even get too deep into general expectations, if you recall, I'm gonna go to like a clean chart. Sorry. God, what the fuck is this? And the takeaway was this. We were basically expecting a bounce somewhere between 19.22 and 16.71. Price ultimately found a hard bottom at the 788.6 fib down at 1812. As you can see, terrific touch. See algos like this level, I guess. Low at 18.6, no closes below. Rest is history. Now with that said, now what, right? Now what's gonna happen? And I'm gonna like put just a screenshot from the last video on screen here, just to save you guys the time going back and watching that if you didn't already watch it. So you know that I'm not talking out of my ass. It actually is playing out pretty much exactly as expected, but now it's in a bit of a tricky spot, and we're trying to figure out like what is going to happen next. Without further ado, we'll hop into it, and I actually just bought the premium version of TradingView, so there's like a bunch of different ones now. Business expense, am I right? And if you guys haven't been following James and I on Twitter, we did just launch something pretty awesome. It's obviously not quite a finished product yet. It's going to be going through lots of development over time. I'm going to be talking about that more towards the end though, because I know it's annoying when you click on a video and someone instantly tries to start selling you stuff, so I'll save that for later. Don't worry, I don't want to be that guy. Nonetheless, here is my primary count for GME here. And there are alts, obviously, right? I have 3 that I'm going to go over today, but basing off of this, here is what we're working with. And I'm not a huge trigger aficionado, if that's the word, so I'm not going to give you too much analysis on like what this means, because I can't even really tell you. I just use them as like moving averages, but James and a lot of the people in Simply Options Discord will be a lot better at explaining that. But nonetheless, from our move up from this low, first off, it's very hard to look at this as corrective, right? A corrective move would look like this, where this is A, right? This is B, and we're going to get a C, something like this, flushing the low down before continuing up. This is really hard to see, just because of the scale of this move. If we're counting this as a 1-2 and this is a 1-2 as well, it just doesn't really make sense. So with that being said, here's what I'm generally looking for now. And I know everyone's going to be pressing me, wanting to know, like, what's going to happen on earnings? What's the shorted time frame count? I don't know. Anyone that claims to know is full of shit. I've been doing this for so long now. And especially with stocks like GME that I guess you can say don't necessarily move naturally through, like, general liquidity. I mean, yes, obviously liquidity is what moves markets, but in the case of GME and buys being routed to dark pools and whatever, the argument can be made that this isn't really a true representation of supply and demand, but that's not what we're talking about today. So anyways, what I'm looking for now, for this count, mind you, and I guess it's pretty much the same for all of them, or for both of the bullish counts, in the medium term, all I'm looking for is a move above our earnings high at 27.8. It doesn't matter how it gets down, like how it gets to that point. I'm just looking to see this high broken, and that high is, this is important, 27.8. So price can make a move, ignoring all the smaller division, price can make a move to 27.81. Can literally do this and then sell to 16. And I would still be incredibly bullish on buying the dip. I don't think this is going to happen. I think this is a bit of a stretch, but a move above 27.8 would effectively validate a larger degree impulse. And here's what I mean by this. So, you know what? Let's actually go to like a completely new one. God, look at me. I finally have the premium version of TradingView after like years of not. Okay, look at this. Totally clean chart. Wow, this is awesome. Shit. I'm just doing this from the top. So, I'm looking at this. One count is this is 1, this is 2, earnings was 3, this is 4, and we're looking to get a 5 up. Something along the lines of a leading diagonal, like such, as to where it gets to. Well, I guess that's not necessary. This isn't really an accurate trend line because it should be off of 27.8. And then I can extend this to the right. Can I even do that on here? God, bro, whatever. Okay, this is just a sketch, because, and the reason I'm drawing it like that is I'm basing it off the after hours data, right? So technically your trend line would be like this. God, is that too much? Is that too much? Something like that. Anyways, right. So yes, in theory you can get a move up to like 35, and the idea of a diagonal would still be correct, but I'm generally hoping for this. It doesn't mean I per se expect it, but I'm hoping that this was our 1. We're gonna get a 2. This might be on earnings. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I would expect a pretty big move up thereafter, generally giving us a type of pattern like this. Mind you, this is not going to look super clean right now. Obviously, this is just a sketch, just a mock-up. Don't take it too seriously. We got to correct the degree to make it technically correct. Right, this is one idea. And here's why I get super bullish, because if you zoom out, we clearly have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th leg. If you understand waves and you've been following me for a while, what does this tell us? This tells us one of 2 things. Well, I guess one of 3, technically, but the 2 obvious answers. This is all into a larger wave 1, wherein we would get 1 big dip still for a 2, and then we would expect to just completely blast off of the face of the earth, right? This is one idea, and the invalidation for this will be a hard loss of 15.41. Invalidation as such, right? But it would become valid above 27.8. That's the key, because then we'll have a clear 5 swings. Now the other possibility, swinging into 5, this is like the other, quote, more obvious one, is this can also technically be into an A wave. I don't know how this would work with a larger degree count, but more on that later. Wherein you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into A. We're going to get a B down, which will be similar to the 2. It's going to be the exact same thing. But then we're just going to get a C up and not 3, 4, 5. And then from the C, we would expect to turn down to new lows. Again, I don't like this one as much, because the thing is, what is it correcting, right? I guess the way you could look at it for it to kind of make sense is like this would be like an ABC into a W as such, right? And then we'll have, this is W, we have ABC into X. Y would come down and flush the low like this. It's a stretch. I don't want to say it's a stretch, but structurally that's what it would look like if it is to go to new lows and we do get a break above the previous high at 27.8. It doesn't look pretty, and no one really wants this to play out for that matter. So now for the fun part. Now we're going to talk about the mega bullish count, and reload with it, whatever, I don't care. This should be the right one, right? Okay, so here's the mega bullish one. We're looking, it's basically, the mega bullish count is effectively a nesting pattern, right? Where you have a 1, 2 followed by another 1, 2. And for this to be valid still, I would still expect a general pullback for 2, because looking at this, there hasn't really been any sizable pullback, which is atypical, if you will. Doesn't have to, but even back at this stage of trend, right? We had a 1, and then we had a 2, and then we had 3, 4, 5, right? You see what I'm getting at? There was still a strong counter trend move, and this, obviously, this was earning, and so that's why it's in like a really, really tricky spot for me, and to say with confidence, oh, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that. But my ideal world is we get a general move like this. Maybe this is earnings, maybe not, and then we can go. And then the debate, if and when it does get up to here, will be whether or not if it's the diagonal count or if it's this count. But either way, a break above 27.8 and all sizable pullbacks, I'm definitely looking to get long, because that would effectively validate a larger term bottom being put in at 15.41. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the all-time low, right? Going back to not that count. Going back to the idea that we just covered, where you can technically have this be all into like an ABC, which would in turn extend to new lows after going to like 40 to 50. That's a lot, and it doesn't necessarily make the most sense, because the issue with that is it all comes down to larger degree count. And if I go to this chart, this is basically everything that I have, and this is gonna hurt your head. I'm sorry, it's definitely a fuck ton of shit to look at, but effectively I'm looking at this as an A, B, and then we have a C into a W followed by X, A, B, C, Y. This is the bottom at 15.41. And obviously it's proven wrong with the break under 15.41, but we're generally, no matter how you look at it, all that I'm looking for still is to break above 27.8 and to buy that dip. Again, right, what you're looking at on here is still like the quote, like the most bullish idea, and I can't necessarily give big targets for this. What I would look for generally, if I can find the right chart, oh wow, I got it first try, that never happens. What I would definitely look for, in, you know, just from a levels perspective, would be clear acceptance over 25.64, holding above 25, right? So get something like this, and then that's more or less clear skies up to higher levels, but we don't have anything that tells us it's going to do that yet, at least from like a trading perspective. And that's why earnings is obviously a coin toss. I can't tell you like what's gonna happen. No one can. People can make inferences and guesses, but no one fucking knows. But yeah, as to where I would look to hit, again, above 27.8, we're looking for 28.6-ish, 30.3 to 30.85, then potentially 33 and 35, and then above there, let's just call it 38 even. And granted, these are all just big baseline targets. Obviously, I can generally get better ones if I like zoom out or draw them differently. And finally, let's go on to the bear case, because there's always a bear count, and if you don't ever consider it, that's usually the one that happens, but it's really cutting it close here. First off, this will be proven wrong above 27.8. 27.8 invalid, and am I retarded? Yeah. Right, so a move above 27.8, we can't call this corrective anymore. So it's very close to being proven wrong, but we just have to keep it in mind because frankly, you never know. But here's my issue with this. I count the swing down from 27.8 in 3, be it ABC or WXY, doesn't matter. It's still 3 swings, right? So looking at this, it's A, B, C. You don't typically get ABCs into wave 1s. You can in, like, doesn't mean you can't, but I am always looking for generally impulsive structures, meaning 5 swings. This is 3. To me, this says corrective. That's just general rules, man. That's just what I'd look for. But just still, with that being said, right, general structure would still be like this. The 3 would come down, 4 would come back up, fail the general trend, and then we get a final flush, probably down to the 12 region. This is like the most bearish version of this. Don't necessarily look at this and be like, oh, it's going to happen like this, because every single chart I've showed today carries equal validity. And that's kind of where you run into some difficulties trying to forecast. And that's where, you know, watching reactions to levels really becomes your best friend. And with the test yesterday up at the expected zone and a subsequent fail, and now we're holding underneath 25, just from a levels point of view, this tells me ideally I would like to take an entry either around 23 or 21.38. I don't think it would really come that low per se. Again, 23 would be pretty clean, right? Maybe there's like a wick on earnings and then boom, it goes. But that's really it on that front. Okay, I really think I've covered everything, man. I can't give like larger degree targets for this type of stuff yet because there isn't really enough data to work off of yet. So I gave you like a list of the basic ones, which are up around here. That overlap is actually really annoying. Let me remove that. That's basically it on that front. Market's about to close too. I guess this was a good timing. Let's see what's happening. Oh, it's going. Fucking finally, bro. Jesus Christ. Now, a bit of a shameless plug talking about the projects we've been working on. First off, I'd made it like a very ominous tweet a month or so ago, quoting like Matt Damon talking about how fortune favors the bold or the brave or whatever fucking bullshit he said when he did like the Crypto.com commercial. That tweet was referring to me putting a shit ton of money, at least for me. I'm 21 years old. I'm not rich. I don't drive a Lambo. Me putting a lot of money on Tesla calls down here at 154 and basically getting all my Discord members in on it as well. And obviously, as you can see, this has changed lives, which has been pretty awesome. For the past like month, I've been waking up and just making money. Awesome feeling, man. Nothing beats it. But at the same time, I understand, and James also understands that paying $100 a month isn't necessarily feasible to everybody. No matter, like, regardless of your financial situation, that's going to require like a decent investment of time on your end to really get the most out of what's being provided. And that's what led us to launch our new product, Meme Stock Watch. And basically with Meme Stock Watch, you can find a link in the description down below. It's also in my Twitter bio, but it's effectively, think of it as like a premium feed with super in-depth analysis through James covers the LDPM graphs, the deep dive stocks information, which goes over, general changes in options buying and selling from the big players, which is actually really helpful in trying to determine big moves. And then we'll kind of tie it together with my general Elliott wave projections. And so I'll put a few screenshots up on screen now, basically from yesterday on my end, what I was expecting. And dude, like every single one of them hit. And you can bundle the groups together, take the price down a bit, or you can just sign up directly for the Discord, and with that you get access to all the modules as well. So just putting it out there, we are looking to grow this pretty big over the next years or so. Honestly, it's the start of something new, but just had to talk about it for a bit, let you guys know what I'm up to, because I'm not gonna open my portfolio right now. I don't even want to know what the calls are at now right now, but I put a lot of money on the August 200 calls down here and literally just sat on them, man. Awesome. And then around here I bought some 250 calls for September. The rest is history as well. Dude, it's just been awesome. And then his SPY targeting going for highs, it must be somewhat close. Okay, yep, sick. This is a pretty long video. I should probably stop it here. Oh shoot, they never hit me back also, but if for whatever reason you stuck around this long in the video, I also am officially, or almost officially, partnered with Elliott Wave International, and I'll be able to give you guys a free resource, which is the Elliott Wave Principle book. It's the first step in, your Elliott Wave journey. What I always recommend people read. But in the past, when I would give them the link to the book, they'd have to go buy it off Amazon. But I believe once they hit me back, I'll be able to just give that out for free. So when I get that, just be on the lookout for my Twitter post, my tweet about it, I guess. And definitely take a look at the book when you can. Totally free, right? No charge. It's just my way of spreading the good word, I guess. But shit, dude, we're at 18 minutes on the recording. It's probably shorter after I cut it all down. I kind of just been rambling a bit, but hopefully now you know generally what to expect for earnings. It's tomorrow, right? Shit, that's crazy. No real action on this front still. So again, we'll see. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen. No one does, but I've given the general ideas on a bigger time frame of what's going to happen and what to look for to validate or invalidate all of them. And so with that, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, what a time to end it, man. The bell just rang on trading or on Thinkorswim. But yeah, sick. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye bye.